A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel, the Twinflame Union. I want to say this to all of you that it's very important to have a community of people who think alike, who have the same virtues, who have the same goals. In this channeling session, the word that popped out and how it started was actually, it started from a word. The word was friendship. At first I thought, okay, friendship is just a random normal thing, like, okay, I didn't pay heed to it. But then I started seeing a vision. And in the vision, I saw a divine feminine who's very small, who's very young, and she is sitting alone in a park. And as she's sitting alone in a park, she's holding on to tears because she does not know exactly what's happening to her. And while she's sitting in the park all by herself, she has no one around. And this is the one thing that she's thinking about friends, about friendship. At this point in time, she's not thinking in the way that she's looking for solutions or seeking guidance from universe. Because if she knew, then she would have made a prayer or she would have done that. But at this point in time, she's very confused. Very, very confused about what is wrong with her. This happens to her after she has got separated from a friend. From a friend she was close to and she really was fond of, but she got separated. And back in those days, now we have all the internet and the telephones and the video calling has popularized a lot. And it got more popular just 4 to 5 years back. Even before that, the quality was never so good. So when the Divine Feminine was a child, people used to have pen pals, they used to have pen friends also, and they used to have friends, but she was the only one who felt that she was all alone. Even when she had friends, that feeling that someone really has her back or someone is going to stand for her was not there at all. Because the truth was that she did not have a single loyal friend, a single real good friend who really genuinely cared for her. Then I see a vision of another Divine Feminine who is in a classroom and she's sitting with her best friend. While she's sitting with her best friend, she tells the best friend, it's like all of the kids are having a good time. The teacher is not in the class and all of them are playing some games. And it is, this time when, children very innocently also they have crushes and they want to marry someone when they grow up and things like that. So the Divine Feminine has a crush on a boy in her class. Obviously all of them are same age group and she's very fond of the boy. What I see, one more interesting thing is, which I don't know how many of you will relate with, but I kind of could relate with it, that she was actually having a crush on the boy who was extremely intelligent in studies. So even as a child, the Divine Feminines were more drawn to intelligence, not good looks or something else, or like an athlete or probably someone who's more flashy, who's coming to school with a lot of fancy things. No, she was drawn to a simple boy who was like a genius in maths or a genius in some subjects and very good in studies. And this boy, as I see, is a very simple boy who's also very shy and completely opposite to the Divine Feminine. Like, she's talkative, she's very chirpy, she's the life of the class, and there are other girls and boys also like her. But this is when they were very young. When you're very young and you've just started realizing you like people and there's some people who are your favorites. So she tells about this boy to her best friend, so-called best friend, who the Divine Feminine considers to be her best friend. So she tells her they're playing a game and she whispers into her ears that the boy in that row who gets very good marks and who's very simple, very shy boy, that is the boy I'm going to marry when I grow up. While saying this, she has a very mischievous smile and she has this twinkle in her eyes. And what I can catch is that she's a very cute kid. Like, you know how very cute, feminine, very playful children are? She's like that. She has a shine about her. Now, then what happens is that the best friend who's sitting with her and who she talks to in all complete confidentiality and, you know, complete secrecy with a lot of trust, she suddenly gets up and she walks up to that boy and she tells the boy that, hey, I gotta tell you something. This girl, she has a crush on you and she even said that she will marry you when she grows up. And when she says this, she does not say it in a cute way. She says it in a very vicious way, in a very poisonous way, and she says it more like she's trying to make fun of the divine feminine. So, because she makes fun of the divine feminine and she sort of laughs at her, you know, hey, you know what she's saying, this is what she said, that's so stupid, that's so funny, you know, something like that. That type of energy. Now that type of energy, when the boy listens to it with that type of tone, if the same thing would have been told to him in a different way, he would have reacted differently. And then this girl, this so-called best friend, also says this in front of other kids. So the divine feminine gets very embarrassed and more confused with the way her friend reacted and the way she made fun of her. She laughed at her. The energy was very bullying in nature and the energy had a lot of jealousy also. The boy, he listened to it and he felt very embarrassed, very shy. And as it is, he was a shy, very non-talkative, quiet boy. So when he heard this, and very studious also, so when he heard this, he resorted to his own side, his own self, and he just didn't say anything. He didn't say yes or no. He didn't even smile. He didn't even feel sad. He was just in a state of shock. He couldn't say anything. And the divine feminine felt very sad and she immediately walked out of the classroom and she went and stood in the corridor and she looked towards the sky. I felt a lot of pain, a lot of sadness from being the chirpy, playful kid. She was a very sad, very confused kid because she is not able to understand what is this feeling. Now, some of you might think that this is a feeling of rejection from the boy, but no, it's not that. That's why I said there is confusion. Because what I was also shown by the divine was that the same boy who's feeling weird or feeling cornered actually would be interested in her when they grow up. She would be very attractive towards him. Though it's not a relationship they will have or anything, it would just be like a liking and a crush, but the boy also has some feelings for her which he could not show in front of the other kids and in front of that vicious little girl. He could not do that. Now I know that children are very simple, very innocent, but there are some children who are not like that. There are some children, they are raised by very jealous, very judgmental type of parents, so they soak in those qualities. They soak in those negative traits of the parents as well. That's why it's very important to not talk about anything of this nature in front of your children. You should talk to them more about love, about honesty, about truthfulness, about sincerity, but not about how jealous you are or how envious you are, or because I saw a very vicious smile on the face of this girl when the boy turned away, and this little girl, the divine feminine, she felt very sad. She literally hung her face down and she walked out of the classroom, and no one followed her either. It was not like somebody followed her or the same girl followed her. She just felt very happy in this situation. She felt very happy. Now the divine feminine, who is still a child, was very confused, very sad, and she simply did not know what to make of this feeling. Though what she is understanding is that the boy doesn't like her as much as she likes him, and there is probably something wrong in what she said, because this is the first time she actually spoke about this to someone, and she got publicly humiliated thanks to that best friend of hers. She got publicly humiliated, laughed at, mocked, bullied, and and the guy who she, had a crush on also turned her face away. So that overall situation made her feel rejection in a way that something is wrong with her. She cannot understand, she cannot pinpoint what is wrong with her, but she feels that something is definitely wrong with her, and she is not someone that a guy or a boy would want to marry. Because kids don't have these notions about marriage, and whatever they listen from the adults, they pick it up, and at that point in time she took it like that. But now the universe guided me and told me that the actual feeling that made her sad was the rejection or the humiliation that she received because of the friend. But at that point in time, she was too young to understand or put a hand or put a finger on why is she hurt. Because even in her upbringing, because she was abandoned and neglected, so having a few friends or having people who hung out with her, stood by her, it used to make her feel better. It used to make her feel comfortable. Because otherwise she was always getting ignored and neglected and abandoned, and too many responsibilities and too much pressure was given onto her at a very young age. So that was her comfort group, like going to school, because in school you have more people, you have so many children in the class, there's some crowd. Though the education system, I have said it again and again, it's worse because of the ranking system, because of the grading system, because of first, second, third and all, especially in primary schools. You can do it later, but in primary schools it should not be done. But regardless of all of that, and because it's coming, the channeling is coming from the time when there was no internet or Wi-Fi, or these type of communications were not very commonly used. People used to have pen pals or pen friends or faraway friends also, and the phones were there, but the mobile facility was not there, and especially for children, obviously it was not there. Now, a lot of people think that the relationship between divine feminine and divine masculine is only about both of them. It's a world where only these two exist and their problems exist. But most people don't understand that any relationship that works smoothly or more efficiently than any other relationship in comparison with is only because the concepts those people have who are good at working things out are more clear in terms of the balance of feminine and masculine energy overall. Loyalty is a very important aspect of this relationship. The divine feminine never received loyalty in any format, because when you're neglected and when you're abandoned by your own, you lose that feeling that someone is there to watch my back, someone is there to be there for me, someone is there to stand by me. And even if what happened is that even if someone was standing by her, it was only to make her feel wrong. And a lot of divine feminines in this journey don't have friends. They never had real friends. As long as they were connected with the third eye, the higher chakras were working, they did have a lot of friends who were benevolent beings who only they could see. But with a certain time and age, those powers or those visions go away, because the programming becomes more and more tougher and more thicker. So you stop seeing from your intuition and you start seeing from the worldly eyes. As a soul, when you are free and when you are relaxed, then you don't depend on other people for validation or for love or for comfort or for anything. If they make you feel bad, then you know where to set the boundaries too, because you're a free soul. You're not attached to anyone. You don't care if there is someone or there's not someone. But at the same time, you also do care for good people. But if your concept and if your understanding of who's loyal and who's not loyal is not clear, then your whole life you will keep attracting friends, you will keep attracting colleagues, you will keep attracting lovers who will never be there for you. Their only job would be to use you in some way or format. It's very important to be with people who uplift you or who add on to you. And that upliftment and that adding on, or that type of goodness, that type of humanity, first has to come from within. You have to be your own best friend first. You have to really love yourself for who you are. And you also have to be honest with yourself in the areas that you need work. If you're not going to be honest with yourself that these are the areas that I need to work on, or these are the problems that I need to fix, or these are the solutions that I need to find out, then you can never really ascend in this journey. Now, there are very simple details. When this Divine Feminine was sitting with her best friend, I saw a certain amount of intimacy, which means that she was spending most of the time with her in the classroom or in the playground. So all the words and all the talks that were coming from this girl who is actually programmed by vicious parents. Now, some people in fact are very evil in nature. The whole day they keep thinking how to trouble other people, how to put others down. And they do this just to feel good about themselves, their own existence. And for that, they obviously look for people who are somehow good in some way so that they can pull them down by their words, by their things, negative talks, always mocking a person, always, saying something that hurts their soul, things like that. Now, that's one thing. The other thing is that the Divine Feminine also needs to be so strong or so mature or so wise, at the same time playful and innocent, and most importantly so authentic that even when someone tries to trouble her or hurt her or create any such situation, her natural instinct, her natural behavior, her spontaneous behavior should be such that other people know that they need to stay away from the boundary that she has created. These type of disloyal friends, one of the most important thing of disloyal friends and disloyal people who are there to suck in your energy, they are energy vampires, is that they are, very nice to talk to. They will say very nice things, but when it comes to taking an action, or when it actually comes to taking a stand, or when it actually comes to be there for that person, they are never going to be there. On the contrary, they will say and do things in such a way that without, being spotted by the Divine Feminine, they would actually make the person feel like you are wrong, you are stupid, in a very subtle way also sometimes, and sometimes in a very in-the-face way. Now, why am I talking about this is that in relationship also, if you have wrong advisors, if you have wrong friends, if you have people who don't really care for you, they will keep guiding you in the opposite direction of truth. Company really matters. And when I talked about the narcissistic family template also, because in a narcissistic family template, the person who's the empath would never be able to make any friends. Never. Because they will keep telling the person that the Divine Feminine in this case, that you cannot trust people, people are not good, people do this, people use you, people are bad out there, people are blah, 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 blah. And they will always have friends. All of them will have friends. All the narcs have a lot of friends, though they always say that they don't have any friends, which is also kind of used as a sympathy tool. But they always have many friends. They always have many people around. They know how to switch. So in some ways, it's good to be in a narcissistic template because you can also learn a lot from them. In fact, the positive things is that narcs simply are very good in creating resources for themselves when they need to do something, when they need to get something done. They know how to be resourceful. That is only one good thing that I saw in narcs, but that is something that you can pick on. But everything else is basically to make you become fully independent. Independent with your source integration, independent with yourself, so that energetically, when your energies are ascending, you are able to stand on your own feet. When you're able to stand on your own feet, be it a fight with someone, be it a situation where you are dependent, be at thinking that you need other people to create an image for yourself, an image that builds yourself up in front of others, or even this basic thing of seeking validation, all of this will go away completely, because you will become your own validation. And now that you're a grown up and your inner child is being healed by you will automatically become a person who can take care of situations without taking any outside help. Because you will have a lot of faith, you will have a lot of confidence, because you will have benevolent friends, benevolent beings, angelic beings, angels, guides, masters, who will always be there with you as your well-wishers, and they will be your real well-wishers. So when your third eye chakra, when it's working fine, one of the key things that happens in a third eye chakra is, even though a situation looks bad in the beginning, but the end is always good. That is one of the key things that happens when your intuition is working, because your intuition cannot work without faith. That is the core of the intuition. So when this divine feminine was young and she was in a place, while growing up, when you like someone, an opposite person from an opposite sex, and this type of situation happens, it can give a very big wound. But this wound is not about the guy not liking me. She's not even concerned about that. She's like, yeah, okay, I like him, so what the hell, big deal. That type of confidence she had in her. But it was the behavior of the friend that really hurt her soul, because she was not able to put a finger on it, and at the same time, being a lonely child, she thought that she had very few friends, and if these are the type of friends that I have around me, then who do I really trust? But there were no words for it. It was only feeling of being cheated on, betrayed. Now when these type of feelings keep repeating, so what I also see is that the same friend put her in trouble many times in future. Again, like future from that point, okay? Even situations where she got physically abused, like she got into a situation where she got beaten up by other kids, or she got beaten up by a teacher, or she got beaten up by a parent because this jealous friend, she went ahead and she said something, she cooked up a story, or she was simply so mean and so revengeful, and there is no reason why she was like that with her. It's just the upbringing. It's just how two children were raised, two different children. One is an empath who has many beautiful qualities, but the parents have totally neglected and ignored those qualities. And then there is a kid who probably has no talent, no extraordinary skills, and not even great in studies, but the parents are constantly uplifting her and constantly praising her day and night. This is called false parenting. This is also a very bad kind of parenting, because parents should give genuine information to kids. For example, two kids are growing up in the school and the parents see that the friend has some talents, but which our child does not have. So instead of seeing it like something inspiring, like how they can, build one another up and say that, hey, look, your friend is so talented, she's so gifted, you must cheer her up, you must go and clap for her, you must stand by her, you must appreciate her talent. Instead of saying that, they will teach the children to be jealous, to be not even jealous, because jealousy is where, they would feel like, hey mom, why is she such a good singer or such a good dancer or such a good painter and I am not? That is jealousy. This can be converted into love by the elders by saying that, hey, that's how she is born and she has those gifts and she has those talents. So what if you don't have them? You can be your friend's cheerleader. You can be there for your friend. You can support her. You can stand by her. You can even help her practice when she goes to, perform in front of other people. This is how an ideal generator and projector scenario is, because the generator supports the projectors in a beautiful way. They can do that. But what is being taught in the planet, in the world, to little kids is envy. Oh, so your friend can sing, but you can't sing. So you know what? Your friend is really full of shit actually. She just can't even do it. and look at her getting all the love, all the affection and all the praises, and you're not getting it, even though you are much better. They say it in such a way that children also start hating onto one another. But because they have that friendship, they have that connection, when they have that bond, which actually was sown, the seed was sown when they were really young, probably still under KG or prep or nursery school or something like that. But while you grow up from standard 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, these are the classes where the parents become too involved with the children and their friends, and how much the child is scoring, how many marks they're getting, how much the friends are getting. They start making comparisons. So Divine Feminine has really suffered at the hands of this type of system, this type of parenting, this type of culture. And she didn't just suffer because of her own family neglecting her or ignoring her or simply not understanding her, because they don't have same frequency or same karmic patterns or same karmic template. So they just don't even know how to handle a child like that. I had spoken about a Western teacher who was simply asking the parents to send the child to doctors, and the doctors were prescribing medicines, pills, so that they would dumb the child's focus down and the child would simply focus only on the books. They did not want the child to look at the birds outside, the nature, or something that draws them naturally. So these type of teachers and these type of parents create a big crack in the friendships. And I'm again not in the zone to blame anyone, but what happens is that because of this, the Divine Feminines have suffered a lot, because they never really had those type of friends who would have their back, who would support them or be their cheerleaders. So one important junction, one important station in this journey is to be your own friend, is to stand by your own self. And what happens with the Divine Masculine also, when he meets a Divine Feminine, he feels that he's found an old friend. There is a very strong bond of friendship between them as well. That's why they love to hang out. That's why they love to talk. They make phone calls. They want to know about one another. They're very curious about one another, because they have that bond, that the energy body or the DNA template is so similar that they have an instant friendship. But because there are all these blocks in the Divine Feminine's template where the toxic femininity, that because of toxic femininity, her relationship, her patriarchy also gets affected, and that's why she cannot really understand that friendship aspect of a relationship, which is the most important thing. Now, you have to understand that in a channeling, we have certain limitations, because we are talking about everyone who are probably having similar codes or similar templates. All right. Now, when you ask me questions or when you mail to me, you share about your life, you share about your issues. Some of you are just randomly talking or sending me messages, or you're commenting, or you're talking about your life, and then you say, can you please help me? It's not possible for a channeler to help you on public channelings. That's why we say for personal readings, you have to contact, you have to book a reading session, you have to come up, you have to be present for the healings and for the therapies. And all of these healings and all of these therapies, we need to follow a protocol. Although I would love to be friends with everyone, I would love to have, a chat with everyone, but you have to understand that when you are, doing something which involves being responsible for other people or for your own self as well, because our own inner work is also constant, then you cannot expect me to help you guys publicly like that, in a comment or in a mail, or just start randomly replying to people every second day. You have to understand that this work is serious work. It is healing. It is inner work. You cannot expect me to leave everything, all my work, and do this one by one individually for everybody out there, because from your perspective you are one single entity who's writing to me, but there are many like you who are writing to me. So you have to understand, you have to sometimes keep me in your shoes as well. And at the same time, then I have my animals. I meet at least 20 to 25, 30 minimum. That's a minimum number of animals every day. And I meet them 3 to 4 to 5 times in a day. That is my core area, and that is something which I do without taking any monetary help from anyone. I am still working on a system on it, but it's not easy to create solid systems like that. That would probably go on for many years on its own. So when I do the channelings, I am trying to help people as much as I can, and that's why I pick up topics which I know personally from my own inner work experience that these are the areas that you really need to look into. You guys can do your own inner work on your own as well. As of now, I am taking up coaching, I am taking up therapies, and I am taking up readings. But maybe after 6 months, I won't be able to do that. Maybe after 1 year, I won't be able to do that. Or maybe 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. There's nothing fixed about these things. Everything in the inner journey is very spontaneous, and it is all happenstance. So if you guys want to do your own inner work, then you have to understand that you are an individual, unique entity. You will have these basic feelings like friendship, love, attention, abandonment, comparisons, and positives also and negatives also. All of that will apply to you individually, but from the channeler's perspective, and not just me, any other channeler who is doing wonderful work in this area, all of them are basically trying to heal a whole huge number of template in one go. Because we are one humankind, we are humanity, and there are many basic feelings that all of us have are same. Like in the animal world, there are basic feelings that animals have, and they have those natural patterns which they work on, which they function on. Same are human beings. They are on the top of the ecosystem, but there are many feelings deep down that match with, which resonate with all of us. That is why there is a difference between sur and asur. The asur means evil, demons, Rakshas in Hindi, and Sur are basically the Dev and the higher benevolent beings. And humans are in between of them. So for humans, it's very important to be in balance of both the good and the bad. So that's why they say in many situations you have to be really bad. You can't help it. That's why too much goodness is not a good thing. People who are too good, they always suffer. And then they think and question that why am I suffering? I'm so good. I've not done anything wrong to anyone. I know most of you have asked this question in your lonely times to God. Why am I going through this? I've not done bad to anyone. I've not been mean to anyone. I've not even abused anyone. I've not even touched anyone physically. Then why the hell am I going through this? What did I do? First of all, you have to understand there is a past life karma also. Secondly, you could be a volunteer or a star seed. Thirdly, there could be a possibility that you are here to heal your ancestry, and a lot of your ancestors are actually looking at you with a lot of hope and expectation, because you do obviously have the potential to heal it all the way up. That's why you are there in that situation. So before taking the human form, the human body, you were obviously a soul. So from the soul's perspective, there are some basic lessons that you need to learn on this journey. And there are basic templates that you need to fix, that you need to heal. And everyone is having individual situations to deal with, which is impossible for me to reply on mail or to reply on comments. You have to understand that. And this is okay. And I really do not understand when you guys mail me, when I have written everything in the description box about what are the courses I am doing right now, what is the fee, then you keep mailing me about the fee, how much you have to pay, what is this, what is that, and how to book, and blah, blah, blah. And then after doing all of that conversation, sending me mails, to and fro of mail is going on, and without even booking a reading, without even booking a session, people start pouring their heart out to me. They start saying everything that happened in the journey from beginning to end. Now, these are the things that these techniques and these tools cannot be worked upon until and unless I take up a reading, I take up a session, and now, from having a discussion on how should I book a reading and how can I get through to you and which course should I take and what is suitable for me, even that I cannot do without taking a reading or a personal session. Like what will be suitable for you? Because for that also I have to look at the questions you send me, the answers you receive from the tarot. Some of the people who I did a reading for, they turned out to be false twins. Now, though they were very disappointed and disheartened, anyone who's on the false twin journey is bound to meet the real twin sooner or later. But then, these are the things that I cannot mention to everyone on the comments or in the general discussion that people do. So I have come across cases where people are mailing me, they're asking me, they take my details also, and then after 5, 6, 7, 8 exchanges of those mails, and after sharing everything, like I have not yet asked you to share with me your twin flame story or your problem or whatever you're going through, because for that I have to give you a separate time. I have to schedule a reading or a healing or a therapy session for you. Without scheduling it, I cannot even help you. But in the meantime, they've already narrated the story. They've written a long email to me, which I have not even asked for. So these are the things you will always do when your concepts about friendship, concepts about professionalism, concepts about what to say, because we should not just go ahead and tell something to someone until and unless they have asked for it. And after you sharing so much with that person, and that person is giving you time, like I give time to people when I receive mails, when I get mails, I do reply to people. If you look at other channelers, they won't even do that. They won't talk to anyone until unless they have not booked a session. But I have not done that, and you can see it in my comment section, you can see it in my Instagram, you can see it even on the emails I receive. So what I see is that there is this dire need in a lot of divine feminines to just share. They don't want to accept, or they don't want to know, or they don't want to see if whosoever they are talking to, do they have time to listen to you? Are they busy themselves or not? Maybe they are themselves in problem, or maybe they are doing some channeling work in my case where they're already receiving information. Maybe they're already trying to help other people out, or maybe they have their own chores also. No, they don't see that. I remember a few days back I had a mail like that where a lady had written to me. Not only she had written a mail, but she had highlighted the mail in bright fluorescent green color. That type of highlighting, that type of coloring is something that you cannot ignore, because it's so, like fluorescent green background and black letters, that too in a mail. So she had written to me that, hey, I've been listening to your channelings, etc., etc. I don't want any reading. That is how she started the mail, that I don't want any reading, I don't want anything, but I just want you to read whatever I have written. And then there was a long mail, a very long email about her twin flame journey, and in the end she said that I just wanted to share it with you. I just wanted you to go through this. That's it. Nothing else. So I found it kind of unsettling that all of these people who write to me, they just share their side of story. It's like they're talking to a wall, and they feel that, okay, there is a wall that is listening to me, and they go on and on and on and on and on and on for such a long time. And when you revert to them, then it's like, oh, no, I don't want a reading, or maybe some other time. I just wanted you to listen to me. This is a result, in psychology, this is a result of repressed listening, which means that no one really heard them, no one really cared about what they had to say when they were young, or no one really acknowledged them. So now they want to just go and speak with anyone who they feel, who they get a vibe would listen to me. And they would say it at any go, even if it's like, like some people, they message me and they say, please give me a discount. I want to bargain. They go on bargaining, and I keep telling them that I cannot do this, I cannot do that. This is not how I work. These are not my protocols. And, I'm not shy to speak all this, because being a real, genuine divine feminine with your community, you have to share whatever is bothering you. This is one thing that has been bothering me right from the start, that there are some people who write long emails to me. They send me long messages. They tell me the story without even me asking for it, or without even me acknowledging it. So in some cases, they don't even care about the acknowledgement. They just care that I have to say this to someone, that's it. Whether or not that person is listening to me, even if it's not available, even if that person, is not interested or not interested, but I have to say it. This is a result of repressed listening, and this is a result of lack of having real, genuine friends who actually acknowledged you. And not even friends, it actually starts from the way you have been raised and you have been given the type of upbringing. Like for a child, I saw this really amazing video. For a child, the child starts jumping, learning how to jump. The child jumps quite high. He rushes or she rushes to the mother and says, hey mama, look, I can jump. Mother is busy doing something and she says, yeah, whatever. Mama, look at me. I can jump so high. And the mother is like, no, I don't have time for this. Just go away. Mama, please listen to me. Please just watch me jump. I told you, stay away from me and let me do my work. Just get the hell out of my room. And that type of dejection or rejection, and that type of, not listening, not being there, that creates a big hole in this child's heart. Because for a child, it's as simple as jumping high, learning how to jump high. But the guardian or the figures on top, the elders on top, they don't have time for even that. They don't acknowledge. So this makes them feel that I need to release it. And then it keeps, there is a lot of backlog. It keeps collecting. One day the child finds out about a flower but is very scared to talk to the mother. And then he sees the bee, and then he sees a tree. And then, so there are many things they want to talk about, but every time they try to approach the parents, even children don't give up in one go. They will try again and again and again and again. But one fine day, it will completely get blocked. And then if someone abuses them, sexually abuses them, or bullies them, or slaps them, or hits them, they do not have the guts to talk to the parents. Talk to someone who's in the elderly department. Talk to someone who they feel will really care for them, will really stand by them, support them. Because they have personally and individually not figured it out yet. And that's the reason why I tell to all of you, if you want to connect with someone, be it me or be it anybody else, you have to understand that to help you personally on a personal level, they need and you need to give your time, your energy, and you have to invest into it. It won't happen just like that. And for me, I can say this, that ever since I figured out that I am more happy doing inner work and doing things that naturally suit me, that are aligned with my natural self, I invested all my time, money, efforts, everything into it to a level, to a point that I became completely independent, emotionally free, financially free, in many ways a free person, a freer person. And then I started realizing that when you start feeling like this, you cannot stay limited to yourself. You cannot just be enjoy all the fruits all by yourself, because humanity means to actually share your gifts with other people. And you can only share it with people who value it, who like it, who appreciate it, who are in the same frequency, and especially those who walk up to you to ask for help. So these are the things that you will also learn in the journey. And you also need to be very careful of how you share your energy. Your energy is precious. Your energy is valuable. If you really want to talk to someone and you feel that I don't care whether they acknowledge it or not, or whether they even reply or not, it's just like doing the same thing that you did with your divine masculine. You kept messaging, you kept writing emails, you kept calling, but there was no response from the other side, because the person on the other side is probably not interested. They don't want to know this, because the divine masculines also get that energy, and this is not the healed energy, this is the repressed energy. So whatever I'm saying in this channeling will make a lot of sense to you if you're really open to this information. If you're not, then it would be, you will keep continuing with it, you will keep going on with it. You need to heal your friendships, you need to heal your understanding of friendship, and you need to know that the most important friend that you have on this planet, other than any other human, is you. If you're not going to listen to your own self, if you're not going to connect with your own self, with your own inner self, and obviously only when you connect with your own self, you find out the source, that the source is within you. And only then you can integrate with the soul. Till you don't do that, it will always be on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. One day you will be good, the other day you won't be good. 2 months it will be fine, 3 months it won't be fine. 1 month of union, 6 months of separation. 2 years of separation, 1 month of union. Things like that will go on happening. It will frustrate you, it will irritate you, you will keep blaming other people, outside parties, but you will never know that what needs to heal is inside of you, it's within you. So the divine masculine being the mirror, basically when she becomes her own best friend, when she heals her wounds. Now if she heals the wounds her own self by doing inner work, or she takes up therapy, or she takes up help from someone else. In any case, when this template is healed, the friendship template is healed, then only she will start having loyal friends, loyal cheerleaders. She will have boundaries, and the divine masculine will reciprocate to it, because he's a mirror. He has the same DNA format, DNA pattern. So how she behaves towards her own self with the source integration is how he will behave to her. In this channeling, I picked up the energy of this particular divine feminine. When she worked on her, when she found out about these type of friends she had, and when she worked out her friendships and her inner template of being there for her own self, standing up for her own self, her self-love quotient, automatically the divine masculine wanted to be friends with her. He started seeing a genuine friend in her, which he was confused about earlier, which he would keep thinking, oh, she is or she's not. Sometimes she's nice, sometimes she's not. Sometimes I can trust her, sometimes I cannot. That will change, and he will have a more permanent and more real, a long-lasting understanding of, okay, she is my friend. She's going to be there for me. And so am I going to be there for her. So this is where this channeling ends. One love and peace out.